Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to review two books. They're both murder mystery novels and I read them sort of back to back, so I decided to just film a video about both of them. So the first one I'm going to talk about is A Case of Blackmail in Belgravia by Clara Benson. This is set in 1929 in London and it is the classic murder mystery setting. So someone was murdered and his name is Tiki Maltravers, I think. And you have a group of suspects and all of them have a motive. But the thing is, our main character, and actually this is the first book in a series and it's called A Freddie Pilkington-Soames Adventure, book 1 I think, and Freddie, our main character, is not in fact a detective, so that's what's different. I'm sorry, I have the window open because it's quite warm. That's what's different about the classic murder mystery setting. He is in fact a news reporter and he only got involved because he was trying to help his mom. His mom tampered with the evidence. And while he's trying to prevent her from going to jail, he ends up investigating on his own because it is just easier to find who did it and clear his mother's name and his name, because somehow the police now thinks that he's involved as well. He's just trying to make sure they don't end up in jail. It's fast-paced, it's such a fun book. Some of the dialogues were hilarious. That moment when Freddie's mom, who's not a news reporter, but she writes a gossip column, tampers with the evidence, not because she thought that was a good idea, she wasn't really thinking clearly at the time, and she's trying to explain that to him. He's actually drunk and he's not getting it, and it's just hilarious. I loved it. This is just a really fun book and I think that I'm going to continue with the series. I have Goodreads here on my computer and I think the second book is A Case of Murder in Mayfair, and I'm not sure if we're following the same characters. I think we are because of the name of the series, Freddie Pilkington-Soames Adventure, but I don't know if all the characters are going to be there or not. But nevertheless, I think it's just one of those series that's just going to be like a cozy read for me, and I think that I'm going to continue with it. There were a couple of things that it's not like I disliked it, I just don't think they were that important and maybe they didn't need to be featured, like the love interest. It was just really subtle, and at first I thought that maybe I was imagining things, but there was like this hint of romance, but it was just so subtle and so quick. Nothing really happened in the end, and I think that's something that I think it's something that's going to happen with Freddie a lot, like falls in love with this girl and nothing happens because maybe she's not interested. I don't know, I just have this feeling. I really liked how we get to explore all the different suspects, but unfortunately the one that I was really interested in, we didn't get to know a whole lot about him till the end of the book, and yeah, I was kind of upset, but you know, in the end I ended up getting to know him a little bit better. Also, it was one of those books, even though it's just like, I don't know, it's not a classic murder mystery, this is not Agatha Christie, but it's like right up there with her, because I was reading the book and I had all of these theories, you know, oh, this one did it, oh no, wait, this person did it. So till the end of the book, I didn't know who had committed the crime, and I like that. I like not knowing. I hate when I'm like halfway through a book and I already know who did it, and I get to the end and I'm like, yeah, see, I told you. So I hate that. I'm really glad that didn't happen with this one. So I would highly recommend it if you're looking for an easy read, just a fun read for the summer. This is amazing. If you are in a reading slump like I was at the time, this really helped me. So yeah, obviously this is an ebook and I got it during the lockdown, because we're not in lockdown anymore, or at least like not proper lockdown. Kobo was having a sale and this book was actually for free, so I don't know if you can still get it for free if you have Kobo, so check it out. And yeah, I loved it. The second murder mystery that I read right after A Case of Blackmail in Belgravia was At Wits End by Christian Weiss. So this book, while the other one was set in 1929, which is something that I love that time period, this one is set in the present time. and it's about Sue, who runs a B&B, a UFO themed B&B in Doyle, and Doyle gets a lot of tourists looking for evidence that aliens exist. So it's like this main attraction, and that's why the B&B is UFO themed. And she just got it from her grandmother, who passed away recently, and she's still trying to get in the rhythm of things because she never, you know, managed a B&B before. One of her guests who didn't pay for his room is found dead in the B&B. Somehow this girl, who just apparently she doesn't want to get into any sort of ordeal, she decides to investigate on her own, and obviously it's a whole mess. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's getting into trouble. There's an FBI agent, and for a very long time we don't know why a federal agent is investigating a local crime, but we know that this person, this man who died, was probably a very important person, or somehow, you know, maybe a criminal, and that's why there's a federal agent there. At some point I actually thought that aliens did it, because I couldn't really understand why aliens were a part of it, honestly. Even today I don't know. While I really enjoyed A Case of Blackmail in Belgravia, this one wasn't exactly it. It did what it had to do, you know, it was entertaining. I didn't want to DNF the book because I actually wanted to know what happened. But when it comes to the aliens, they actually mention a situation that happened the year before or something, in which a lot of people disappeared, and when they returned they didn't know what happened, and they think that's why the FBI agent is there, and that maybe, you know, aliens are involved. But you get to the end of the book and you still don't know what happened to those people, and you know, just aliens are not part of it. Some guests speculate that, you know, the government works directly with aliens, you know, those people who have all of these theories, but you know, that's just, you don't get any closure from it. It's just, okay, people think aliens exist, that's fine. That has nothing to do with the story. This whole story could have been written without the UFO themed characteristics. It's just, you didn't need them, and I think they were just there to distract you a little bit, because at some point I actually thought that maybe aliens were involved, and I wasn't that happy about it because I'm not one for space stories. I was kind of anxious about it. I still wanted to know what happened to those people, and we didn't get closure on that, so it was just, why did I need the information? I'm not sure. And again, while A Case of Blackmail in Belgravia was fast-paced, the narrative was still really beautiful. It wasn't like, oh my god, I've never read anything like this, but still, you get some descriptions, you got some context, and you could picture everything. And here the narrative, because most of it is dialogue, here the narrative was just very vague and general, and loose sentences, you know, like, she got in the car, the sun was shining. She went to the coffee shop, she asked for a coffee. You know, it's just, okay. You're just basically giving me the bare minimum. It was not beautifully written, and it's not amazing, it's not mind-blowing. I don't know if this is Christian White's first book, so maybe her writing improved since then, but honestly, it was just, yeah, I just wanted to finish the book to find out who did it. I wasn't that invested in the story, and it is a quick read, like I said, because most of it is dialogue. There were a couple of just stereotypical characters. So you have Sue, our main character. She's really shy, she's really awkward. Whenever she has to confront people of authority, she's like, yes sir, and then they walk away, and she's like, oh, I should have told him. You know, I sort of related to that because I do that a lot, you know. Sometimes, you know, I remember when I was a kid, and if I had a fight with a friend, they would walk away, and I would be like, oh, I should have said this. now I think about it, I should have said this. So I could relate to her, but that was about it. Whenever she tried to investigate, she actually tried to ask questions to possible suspects. She was always getting into trouble, like people were done with her. So she was that stereotypical main awkward character. And then you have her cousin Dixie. Dixie was working at the B&B while their grandmother was still alive, and you know, Sue just allows her to work there, continue to work there. And Dixie is the type of character that's just like the rebel, you know, of the family. No one thinks she can do anything. She's a screw up. She's younger. She has like pink hair and walks around in tops and jean shorts. Yeah, she goes out drinking, and she stole the police car when she was a kid. She's your stereotypical rebel, and you know, you have the awkward, silent, shy character, and then someone who's close to her has to be the opposite. So just very stereotypical characters. And the love interest, I don't even remember his name. He was one of Sue's childhood friends from when she used to go to Doyle when she was a kid and spend her summer there, because she never actually lived there until now. And he's just, you know, the rich kid. He's very good looking. If he behaves, his aunts just keep providing for him, and he has to do the bare minimum. Like, he works as a tour guide with all the tourists that come to look for alien evidence, but other than that, you know, his life is pretty easy. And he's really interested in her, she's interested in him, and you can sense there's a vibe, but nothing really happens to the end. And she's always like talking about how jealous she is of his clients. Sometimes he gets like these really older, more sophisticated women, and they're basically just, oh my god, he's so cute, he's so gorgeous, and she's sitting there just, yeah. But she doesn't do anything about it, obviously. You think that gradually it's going to develop, but it's not. Like, it's always the same, and then you get to a point that's just like, oh, I love you, you know? I don't think they actually say I love you. They get to a point that they just admit they like each other, but until then it was always like this, no developments at all. I actually thought that this was sort of like a friend zone type of thing, like that platonic romantic interest you have, like you always like that person, you always fancy that person, but you would never do anything to be with that person. I can't think of like 4 books with that premise. So I actually thought that was it, and I was fine with it, because I don't think we needed a love interest or a romantic thing in this book. It didn't have anything to do with the story, so I was just a little bit disappointed. I would say if you wanted to choose one of the two, I would definitely read A Case of Blackmail in Belgravia before I read this one. I don't even know if I can recommend this book, because I think that a lot of people would not enjoy it, and I think they would only read it to know who did it in the end. But I do think that this is a series or something, because it says a Doyle cozy mystery. So I checked Goodreads, and there's another one called Planet of Grapes, and again you have like aliens involved somehow, UFO abductions and stuff. I actually think that this is about Sue, because it says Wits End 2, and Wits End is the name of the B&B, so I think Sue is going to be involved. I honestly don't know if I'm going to read the second one. I might, just to, I don't know, see if it's any good, if her writing is better, but I will definitely continue with Freddie Pilkington's Sums Adventure series, because I think that's just a lot better, and I actually prefer it. You know, it is set in the 1920s, 1930s, and I don't know, I just love that time period. So that's it, guys. Let me know if you have read anything by Clara Benson or Christian Wise, because I would like to know your opinion. But I will definitely continue with a Freddie Pilkington's Sums Adventure series. I think I'm going to read it like in November, December, just because you get those cozy, you know, winter vibes. But this one, I'm not really sure if I'm going to continue with it or not. I think this is a book that I decided to read after my first chapter challenge. I should have picked True to You by Becky Wade, even though it was longer and I was reading other books at the time. I think I should have picked that one. I think I picked this one because it was a little bit shorter than all the others and I wanted something quick. But yeah, I'm disappointed. So definitely read A Case of Blackmail in Belgravia, because I would love more people to read that book. I think that not a lot of people know that book, which is weird. So yes, but that's it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you are well, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye.